Well, I think we're seeing kind of a new next stage of urbanization of the area. They were small towns distinct from Lincoln. They all were annexed between 1926 and 1930. Then it took quite a bit of development after World War II to really fill in the residential gaps between Lincoln proper and the annexed towns. I think what we're starting to see now is a further urbanization where they're really coming up to a higher scale, more dense development, more part of the whole metropolitan area. These are core neighborhoods, but they're not the main core of Lincoln. I think we're maybe seeing the subset of urbanization of Lincoln that around these formerly separate town centers, we're starting to see now the higher scale and the greater density. It'll be fun to see just who wants to live in these areas. I think there will be a market. I think they'll find their niche. But you're choosing between here and maybe the center of Lincoln or the Haymarket area. Probably employment will be a factor. There's strong family connections to Northeast Lincoln. Once a Rocket, always a Rocket. I think there will be Rockets living in these apartments who may be working in central Lincoln, but choosing to live closer to, but not in the same circumstances as they grew up. It'll be fun to watch.
Nebraska Wesleyan's getting ready to put up a new science center. It'll be our first major academic facility put up in about 35 years. We're very excited about the project. We're raising the funds to make that possible now, and so some trees have come down. We'll be rebuilding parking lots, doing some work on the street and utilities. These are preliminary steps, and then when we get our fundraising done, the whole building will go up. It's an 84,000 square foot, 3-story building. It's sited in a way that takes advantage of the sun and shelters First United Methodist Church across the street so that we don't cast a big shadow on them. It's the most exciting thing we've done in many years. This project is the first time in 130 years that Nebraska Wesleyan has popped the perimeter of the historic campus. So we've filled the campus with nice walking spaces with the buildings that we have now. Now is our opportunity to move to the west, put this building into the former block of 50th Street that the city has vacated. And this is also a way for Nebraska Wesleyan to show in a very visible way that we are attaching ourselves, working cooperatively with the University Place community. I'm more than excited about these other commercial projects that are happening at the same time as ours. To me, this is the spark that lights up University Place. This is something, from my point of view, I've been waiting for 10 years, and I would say folks at Nebraska Wesleyan have been waiting for 30 years.
The project is at 48th and Holdridge, going along 48th to the north to Ellsworth, and then all the way from 48th Street over to 49th Street. One full city block. We're looking at a restaurant, coffee shop. I've had several inquiries of different retailers that want to locate in the building, and after the first of the year we'll start in earnest trying to solicit those people to move in August of next year. 98 living units on floors 2 through 5. Stark difference of what was there before, which was the old QP and Tasty Inn. You drive by today, you'll see that the steel has been set for the first floor, and they'll start very shortly, starting on the second floor, building the apartments.
We updated our master plan in 2013, and there are another number of projects that have been completed, are underway, or under study at this point in time. Projects that have been completed include the Recreation and Wellness Center, which was a renovation of the East Campus Activity Building with an addition to it, and it's a very popular, exciting recreation center at this point in time. We're adding on to the library storage facility. We've put in place a thermal energy storage tank, and we've added on to that an expansion of our utility plant. We've recently purchased the Edmondson property, which was a little chunk of property at the north end of East Campus, and we'll be able to use that for our forensics program. Additionally, we have a new veterinary basic science program building that is underway and under construction, in addition to the law college that includes clinic space, new student housing that will have about 375 beds that will be both apartment and traditional style rooms. And then we have a study underway for the East Campus Union, looking at replacing that. It's probably too expensive to renovate it, so we're looking at either building a new building in its place or just immediately to the north of it. Along with that, we're looking at renovating C.Y. Thompson Library into a learning commons and creating a green space that's an active use space that creates a hub between the Union, the housing, and C.Y. Thompson.
Yeah, so the project's called University Place. It's a mixed-use retail and housing development. Focused, there's an existing Hy-Vee store on that site, and that shopping center is essentially degraded over time or really has not been cared for over time. So our developer is very focused on bringing new life to this environment and really weaving that into the overall context of University Place as a neighborhood. This spring you'll see a lot of construction activity. I would imagine by late 2017, early 18, the project will be open. So both buildings that are being shown right now will be up and they're being built at the same time. What is essentially an old version of a big box store has a large span steel construction, and in order for us to keep existing tenants in their current leases and maintain that building, the Hy-Vee that's gone at that party wall, we are very, very carefully separating that structure from the existing to remain structure. That means cutting trusses and flying a new wall in there to bear existing trusses and building new footings, and it's a very delicate situation. I don't know that we have a name for it yet, but we just call it the community plaza, and it is a through street. It's meant to be driven on during the day, but it gives us the opportunity to close it down for farmers markets or community art festivals or a concert or maybe a movie night or something like that. And it allows our residential lobbies to emerge onto that space. It allows restaurants and other things, maybe after 6 o'clock in the evening on a Saturday night, they can close down the street, and the restaurants can migrate out into those spaces a little bit more and give better outdoor environments. Both campuses are really on fire right now. There's a major focus on new construction projects, bringing in new students. That is a great clientele to bring to any development in that neighborhood. And I think the advent of Lincoln as a city has done great at focusing on nodes, and this is an existing node that just needed some new love and new care breathed into it. And I think multiple developers have seen that. They can still purchase land at a relatively good price and put up projects, working with the incentive packages with the city to come in and do these infill projects. So it's very positive, very excited to see these things come together. And our neighbor development, I think, will just complement each other very well. So.